Hello there, beautiful soul. I want to ask you a question. Are you sat out there unable to do the normal everyday tasks, the small tasks, the answering a message or making a phone call or even getting up off the sofa? Those simple everyday tasks feel impossible. They feel enormous. And at the same time, you've got that familiar voice in your head that's always been there or been there for a while now, telling you that you're lazy. Get up, pull yourself together. Critical. And it just makes you feel shame. Shame about being lazy. But you're not lazy. You're depleted of energy. Energy that you've used up being there for everyone else. And in the process, forgetting about being there for yourself. Look at soil that has been overfarmed. The depletion is invisible until something more is asked from it before it's had the opportunity to be replenished. And it's the same for humans. Exactly the same. You give, you give, you give, and more and more and more is asked of you before you're given that opportunity to be replenished. And you know what? Nobody blames the soil. Nobody tells the soil they're lazy. And that logic applies to you too. Depletion is a physical reality. It's not a character judgment. When you name depletion, the shame lifts. Why? Because you realize that your exhaustion, that the reason you can't get up is that you have no energy left. It's not that you're being lazy. So you're not judging yourself. When you name it as depletion from an honest place, a genuine restoration becomes possible for the very first time. And why is that? I hear you say. That is because naming that shift, laziness makes you look inward. By looking inward, there's a blame attached to it. Where depletion makes you look inward from curiosity. And from curiosity, you can actually do something. From shame, you stay stuck. And that's the practical difference. When you realize and you name it, that lack of energy, that exhaustion, when you name it as depletion, because you are depleted of that everyday energy. And when you name it as depletion, the shame lifts. And because it lifts, it gives you room to be curious. Curious about what you can actually do. Because now that you've lifted the shame, there's no heaviness. So you're open to receive those possibilities. The curiosity of asking yourself, what small thing can I do today now that I have lifted the shame of being lazy? Because after all, you were never lazy in the first place. I can really resonate with how you're feeling about the shame, the blame. When I was diagnosed with clinical depression. It was right at the depths of my darkness. And that voice inside of here was a voice that shouted, "For God's sake, pull yourself together." If I could have pulled myself together, I wouldn't have been sat there. I would have been able to get up and do those simple daily tasks without them feeling enormous, because I was depleted. I had no energy. So I can truly resonate with you. And because of naming what I was going through as depletion of that energy that is needed for us to do just those everyday tasks without the wider scope, allowing yourself to give to yourself first before giving to others is a wonderful way to start removing that depletion and building that energy back. And once I stopped naming it as laziness and not necessarily but pulling myself together, but allowing myself that curiosity, then the depletion became something that I could remove. And because of how I felt with that lack of energy, with that depletion, with that pull yourself together banging in my head, from that, I created something because I couldn't find the space I was looking for. I couldn't find the place where I could be held, just held, so that I could be supported in understanding the difference between being lazy and being depleted. And because of that, I created the space. And that space is the gentle healing revolution. And one of the first things that we do in the gentle healing revolution community, we find the honest name for what's actually going on, what is actually happening to that person at that time. Because this changes everything when you do that. When you use the right language, you can find it at the Gentle Healing Revolution. The link for it is in the description. But what I want you to really be aware of, and I want you to take this with you today, you are not lazy. You are depleted. And there is a significant difference between those two things. One is a verdict. The other is information. I'll leave you with that thought today. Be curious. Look at the information that curiosity is giving you. Until the next video, see you soon.